Three, we want you to follow a systematic route of trying to provide first aid and care to the people. We want you to start where you stand. That's one of the great rules of it is, you know, if there's all chaos will start to break loose, rather than, okay, well, I'm going to start over there and then make my way back. No, just start where you are and then make the sweep of what you need to do, whether it be a residence, an office building, a school, whatever it is, you know, or a church building. Start where you stand and then work yourself in a systematic way so that you make sure that you encompass all of the areas where people might be. And then one of the earliest things they want that I've read too is that you want to do a quick sweep, and then if you have more help, do a more in-depth sweep. In other words, let's take this building for example. I would not take the time to walk into every single classroom as I went through the entire room. That would take too long for me as one person to go through. And then I come back, I've gone through every room, but the 4 people that were bleeding to death are now dead. That would be terrible. You know, to walk, you know, to do the major search through the major rooms and area, and then come back and then do it and send somebody else if there's somebody else that you can do, or do a wider sweep later on. Remember, this is under the assumption that you are by yourself and that you want to do the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. Step number 4 is we want to tag each person. My company, we sell these really cool, they're really cool, triage tags that we sell to companies that go in first aid or in emergency disaster kits that you can put on. It has the person's name, where they're injured. I mean, a bunch of those are rip-off tags, and so they can start off as okay, and then as they get worse or progressively worse, you can tear off the tags. You can keep the tag with the body, and if they have to go to the morgue, they're really pretty cool. You happen to carry those in your back pocket, do you? No, neither do I. I have some, but I don't have to carry them with me on a regular basis. And so you want to get some way of identifying somebody. Lipstick or a marker or something like that to write on the person's forehead, write on their hand, something like that, that you can immediately identify all the people who need the immediate. So you could, if somebody else comes up, you tell them, I have a group of people over there, they all have eyes in their forehead. Or you have a bunch of people that are all laying over there, some have eyes and some have D's. Do me a favor, get all the eyes over here, all the D's over there. You can have them to be able to separate them out, ergo doing a triage. Once you've taken the walk-in wounded and the people who need delayed out of, then you need to address what you're going to do to the people who need immediate care. So what do you do for those people who need immediate care? Provide care immediately. Well, that's where it comes down to how much first aid knowledge you have. I'm going to give you some tonight. Obviously in 40 minutes I can't teach you everything that I teach in an 8-hour course. That's obviously not possible. But the 3 things that we want to be really aware of is maintaining an open airway. A lot of people die simply because their airway closes. They've been hit in the head by something or become semi-unconscious. They fall, they lay down, they are becoming in a relaxed state. Their soft palate closes their airway and they die. They die for a lack of nothing else but having an open airway. So how do we open the airway? And we're going to kind of do this a little, we're going to talk a little bit more about how we open the airway. The other thing that is one of the real big killers is serious bleeding. Bleeding profusely, you can bleed out in less than 3 minutes. And so we want to be able to control that. We're going to talk a little bit about how you control that. Then one of the other big killers is shock. And I don't mean by sticking your fingers in a light socket, I mean the body's reaction to adverse conditions. Your body, your human body, is a beautiful, wonderful device. Incredibly well manufactured, incredibly well designed, except it seems in this one area. Because in a very traumatic situation, your body wants to pull the blood into its core, into the organs and everything everywhere else. That's a good thing. Because if you're bleeding out here, you kind of like, okay, the body says stop sending blood out there. Not a bad idea. The only problem is your brain is not in your core. And in the blood of the brain, you know, you didn't bleed out this way, but you're dead anyway. Seems like somebody messed up on that design on that. We should send that one back to the engineers. But shock is something that can and does kill people, and it kills them kind of quietly. And so we want to be able to treat for shock as well. And then we want to, the sixth step is to document our triage results. We want to be able to, in any situation that you deal with, you're only going to be alone for a small period of time. Other people will come. You can take the people that were delayed, that they have a boo-boo on their finger was bleeding. Now, it might have been a bad boo-boo. I mean, under other circumstances, this would be the most horrific thing that had happened to you all month. That they got a serious cut on their finger. But a serious cut on their finger pales in comparison to somebody who's had lost an arm or something like that. And so you can take somebody who you've fixed and patched up and get them to help you, or others to help you as well. And so you want to be able to intelligently be able to identify the locations of victims and be able to allocate the resources that may be coming to you efficiently where they need. Okay? So how do we find out? Let's go back to those people who need immediate attention and opening an airway. So how do we open a patient's airway? We do opening a patient's airway simply by placing them on their back or in a resting position, tilting the head back in what's called the head tilt chin lift method. We tilt the head back and we push up on the bony parts of the jaw, either at the point or at the corner of the jaw, and push up so the jaw thrusts forward. Not here on the soft part, you don't want to push on this part, but on the bony part of the jaw or the corners. That head tilt chin lift should be enough, tilt the head back far enough for that the patient, that they should be able, if they are capable of breathing, that they will start to breathe on their own. Then we want to look, listen, and feel and see if they are breathing. How do we do that? Well, we place our ear next to their mouth. We look down the patient's body, look for signs of breathing, chest rising, muscle movements. Muscles don't move if they aren't getting oxygen. And so we're looking for those types of things. Twitching, chest rising, any of those, any sign of life from that patient. Then we want to determine whether that person is breathing. If they're not, we want to give them 2 rescue breaths. Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, your mouth on their mouth, puff them up. Not like you're blowing up a balloon though. This is not, right? Just simple blowing in their mouth. Those 2 things, if they are going to resuscitate immediately, should give them enough opportunity to come back to life. Okay? If they are not breathing, and 2 breaths don't bring them back to life, then they are dead. Write dead on them somewhere, on their forehead, and then move on to somebody else.